to begin.
Oh, okay. Hey, there we go. It happens. You know, it's one of those things that just start off, you kind of have to figure it out. But I'm sure you guys know that from experience, like just cables or something, you know. But what is up, guys? We're back with the Social Primate Podcast. Today we have Rudy, Marco, Justin, and together they are Mexico City Heartbreak.
What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's up,
Hello, hello.
Thank you guys for making it out today on
for
a
having
beautiful
us. Yeah,
Tuesday evening. Right, it's Tuesday, yeah. What's up, man? How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I heard you guys are going to be going on to the Yips Festival next week or October 13th or something, right?
Yeah. Joshua Tree. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've never played out there before.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm planning on going out there for that weekend, so I might catch you guys there out in the desert vibes, you know. So it's one of those things that I'm looking forward to, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So when I heard you guys were coming out, I was like, wait, I know those guys. I've been listening to you guys for a couple of years now, and I think I featured your song maybe one or two times before on the podcast. So it was finally time to get you guys officially on the podcast, you know?
A long time coming. Was it Daylight? I think it was.
You know,
Daylight.
I think it was, yeah. I think it was. And there was some other one, too. I think one of your older songs. So it's...
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's kind of been building up to this. So thank you guys for making the time out here.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for having us.
That's wild.
Tell me a little bit about you guys' stuff. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, Rudy, let's start off with you. And tell me a little bit about your involvement with Mexico City Heartbreak.
Yeah, I was making music for a long time, kind of by myself, and doing that for a long time was really difficult. It wasn't really going anywhere, and then I don't remember how I met, I met this guy named Frankie, and I'm having a hard time remembering how I met Frankie. If you see this, I'm really sorry. But I met this guy named Frankie, and we started playing music together, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, Frankie introduced me to other people, and then I have this friend named Hazel. Everybody in music knows Hazel. Like Hazel Kazuski. Whoever's watching this probably know Hazel too. Hazel's like the most connected friend I have in music, who just knows everybody everywhere. And she introduced me to Justin, introduced me to like every musician that I've ever performed with. Even the producer that I work with now was introduced to me by my friend Hazel. So she kind of like connected me to all my music friends. I didn't have any relationships in music before I met Hazel, because I don't have any other musicians or artists in my family. Yeah. So when it all kind of started, she was introducing me to people. I met Justin. I knew Marco from high school. Yeah, we actually were like doing like this college access nonprofit program thing, and we were like roommates. I forgot where we like bunked together, somewhere in like Massachusetts probably.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you guys been able to bond over the years, then.
Yeah.
Sick.
And he loved music. He introduced me to like some really cool bands. I'm forgetting the name of the band that you Two Door Cinema Club. I was like, what is this? And then we did a Smiths cover together in high school. And so
we didn't keep talking though.
No, we stopped talking. Like literal years went by.
Everybody went their own way, you know.
Yeah. So you guys basically just hung out for a while and then took a big break and just kind of.
Well, we went to different high schools, so I only met him through that program, and then kind of when everybody graduated, everybody went to their own colleges, did their own thing, and then we didn't really stay in touch except for like with friends maybe that you knew from your own high school, but. It was like kind of out of the blue, like during COVID, right?
Literally DM'd you, bro, like on Instagram. And he never posts like nothing, so I'm like, this is a shot in the dark. Like he's not gonna even see this. Like,
I'm kind of like a ghost on social media a lot. Like I'm on it, but I'm not like posting.
Yeah, I kind of see that.
I'm not always good about it.
I see that with my personal one. With my personal page, I'm like just kind of in the shadows, just eventually liking stuff, but not really posting stuff. I don't know. But podcast is completely different. It's like every day people are like, dude, stop posting or something, you know?
You have to, though. You have to.
Yeah, you have to. It's just, you got to beat it. But what about you, Justin?
We met through Hazel. So before COVID and stuff, I was playing another band at the time called Hybrid Citizen, and I think you went to a show. Well, we played. Did we play a show together? I booked you, right?
I saw you. You did book me for a show, and then I also saw you in Echo Park.
At the Los Globos.
Los
right?
Globos,
Okay.
that's what it was.
Which, by the way, like full disclosure, I had some sort of crazy flu at the time, and this was right before COVID happened. So I don't know if that was COVID that I had, but before COVID, you have that before COVID mentality where you feel like, I'm just a little sick. I'll take some Sudafed and go on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff. Now, I mean, we can't do that, right? But
now they'll see like, what's wrong with you, man?
But we met. So like we met a little bit briefly beforehand and stuff, just in the scene, and then Hazel hit me up one day and said that he needed a bass player, and I was like, sure. Like I was looking to do anything like just creative and stuff, and I really like the music and the direction, so
sick.
Been doing it ever since.
I think one of those cool things is just like sometimes it's like the importance of just being able to know people, because that's something really strong in regards to just when you're being a creative or something. It's like you gotta network, you gotta have these connections, and unfortunately sometimes it's kind of hard to believe, but if you don't have those connections, it's gonna be harder to be able to access people, that are in the same, whatever it is that you're doing. So it looks like Hazel is putting in the work here for everybody.
For real.
Yeah, honestly.
Now, did you post that you were looking for a bass player? Is that how she was like, or not post, but you were like, hey, I need somebody, and she was like, I got you.
Actually, I think, no, she just introduced me. Like, she's a door opener. I don't know too many people like that in music. It's music, in my experience thus far, has been very gatekeepy, like at almost every level. But Hazel's a door opener. Like, since the day I met her, she's like gone out of her way to introduce me to people. Like, you should meet so and so. You should meet so and so. Like, every show that I'm at, she's like, oh, meet so and so. It's not like, oh, like, do you want, or like, no, she'll just like grab you, take you. This is so and so. You guys should know each other. Nice. He does all these things. Like, she'll tell them like your whole resume without you having to say anything. It's like really, really cool person that everybody needs a Hazel.
Like she like practically like planned the breakfast thing that we met at, right?
She was like, oh, you're gonna talk to Justin and you guys are gonna talk about the band, and
like we're gonna go have breakfast and I'm gonna set it up and I'll be there and I'm gonna introduce you guys.
This is the first time you guys were meeting.
I mean, first time we met, formally,
She's like an unofficial music matchmaker.
Yeah.
That's good. She knows when to swipe right. Like, no, it's not a good bass player there or something. But it's funny because like I remember when I was a little younger, I've mentioned this a few times in previous episodes. Like at some point during my teen years, like I wanted to be like a bass player. I was doing bands, and I remember like I'll go on Craigslist and people will be like, hey, I need a drummer, I need a bass player, or whatever. And you'll hit them up, you show up to some random house. Like in this example, I went to some place in like Arcadia. It's like, hey, you show up. And I show up. I don't know these guys. It's just 4 other people just playing. And they just bring your bass, and next thing you know, you're just jamming out. And like you don't even know each other. There's no words exchanged, but it's just like you're just jamming. It's like, damn, that's cool.
Wait, they didn't say any words to you?
They didn't say no. They just went, come on. No, okay, maybe if anything, maybe 3 words like, come on in or something.
Just plug in.
Just plug in, yeah. Just give me the cable and then boom, I'm jamming. But it's just cool. It's just those things that kind of just bring you together, It's just music itself. But like recently on Saturday, I went to a show where actually Chencha was playing. And I hadn't been to like a ska show in a minute. So just being in this particular case, it was, ska music. So there's just pits going around. And so you're like, I'm 33. I was like, I feel 15 right now. I walked in there, started going in. I fell on my knees like hard twice. Dude, I'm still recovering right now. Like my knees are hurting. But it just goes to show, like you can't stop what the music makes you feel.
Sure.
So, I mean, tell me a little bit about your guys' most like recent music.
Yeah. What did we put out most recently? We're like slowly rolling out the singles. We just put out an EP actually. It was 4 songs. Daylight, Talk It Out Much, Atmosferica, and what was the first one? Man, no.
Talking how much?
No. It was another one.
You already said that?
La Cita. La Cita. Is there another one that I'm missing too? Man, I gotta keep track. It's because the weird thing about releasing music is that most people don't realize that you're sitting on music sometimes for like years.
Yeah.
And that the process of rolling it out takes that long. And so like for me, I'm like, what song is it? Because we've had these songs in the back burn for like really long time.
Oh, damn. Okay, so I mean, you guys are just basically ready to release them and not have the pressure of like, oh fuck, I need to put something out.
It's the process, yeah. Like we have 3 more that haven't come out yet. that are like 90% of the way done that will be coming out from now through like February of next year. Mm-hmm. We're putting out a live EP in like a week. So there's just stuff like in the back burn. It's stuff that we've worked on for like the last 2.5 years. So, yeah.
So when did the band? What was the like the inception point to this? Was like what 2020, 2019 or something?
19, yeah.
It's probably 2019.
Right before the pandemic, and then we didn't probably meet for like 7 months.
Well, I remember when we met. It was like when it was like during the pandemic scare, and everybody was at home, and like we met up all wearing masks still, you know, like still being careful and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like a little pod.
But it was like an escape from what was going on in the world, you know.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, because you didn't know, nobody knew what was going on then. So like just having that, you know, the ability to just feel normal for a little bit was like, let's do it. Yeah, and that was actually one of the things that I heard a lot of musicians and bands. You know, it's because everything got shut down. So like your ability to perform, you know, to just be out there in front of the crowd, it was like you know. And I feel like a lot of the times people were already ready. Like I've heard other stories where people were ready to go on tour for the first time. They already had like shows lined up, booked, and everything. And next thing you know, everything just kind of got thrown. And I think for a while people were trying to mitigate that by doing like live performances on Instagram or like. You know, putting something together for people to feel like they can still connect somehow, you know? And I think one of those was Alivio open mic. I think one of the things I saw locally was Eric putting something together like that was showcasing poets or just mini events that people can, you know, enjoy during, what's it called? What was it called? Quarantine. There you go. Yeah. I already forgot.
We did do a live session. Is it online?
Yeah, that was one of the ones they filmed.
Oh, I think that was like episode 0 even.
Oh, it was like we were like the pilot episode.
The pilot episode?
Well, I don't think they film it anymore. I think they just did it during COVID.
Right.
Yeah, I think they were streaming it during. Oh yeah, I guess you guys were there and they were streaming while you guys were there and everything, right, or something, or pre-recorded. One of those things. But Eric was getting the work done. You're trying to bring that kind of stuff, that connection back to people. Where again, where we were like, dude, what are we doing? We're just gonna be locked in.
Yeah. It
was again some sort of normalcy, but. It's cool that people like that were kind of helping put that kind of stuff together, you know?
Yeah,
for sure.
So we've been working on music that whole time. And the rollout of that has been slow. Like music changed a lot in the pandemic. So like even the process of releasing music, having to make visuals and to do all the stuff that you have to do on TikTok, it's just like a totally different way of marketing yourself. And then playing shows has even been a bit of a challenge for us just because of how backed up everything got. It's a little bit easier now, but like for example, we're booking stuff for next year now because like everything's kind of backed up like that. Like getting like a local show even is like really challenging. So we're trying to plan ahead, and you know, we have releases coming, so we do have more shows coming and trying to like match everything up timing wise. But it's a grind, and it feels like there's way more musicians now for some reason. Like I think everybody in the pandemic was like, yeah, I'll give music a shot. Why not?
Yeah, no, I feel like that happened a lot. There was like this boom of like, hey, I want to try this out. And then after a few years, or for example, like I also kind of saw an increase in podcasting. Like people were doing podcasts, but they're usually like around maybe late 2021, 2022. People were like, oh, fuck, maybe this is a lot of work. You know, just like in music itself, like you got to keep the juices flowing. You got to be ready to get it done. And, you know, it can be exhausting for people who aren't necessarily used to it.
I think it was that stimulus money too that helped out.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you know, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna start paying for my projects and stuff now.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny now that we kind of just brought that up. It's just, you know, a lot of people took the time, you know, that extra money to either invest in themselves or like really try to figure out like, hey, I got this extra time. Let me see what I can do. Like I can really follow my passions. And it kind of speaks to the idea that when people have the ability to not worry about like necessarily paying their bills, like they have the ability to be like, let me take a breath, let me chill, and let me go draw or something, you know? And that's when it was like this whole idea, like I don't know how much you guys know of it, but it's been a topic that people have brought up the last couple of years, like the whole universal basic income, you know? That's just one of those things that like gives the idea like, hey, if we give people some extra money, they might have time to do whatever the hell they want, you know? And that's kind of what inspires, I think, the human like curiosity, just being able to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Yeah, Marco and I were riding that Stimmy high for a minute. It was nice. It was a good time. Yeah, no, like I started a whole career like because I was let go from the job that I was at, and then I started doing photography. At first as a hobby, but then very quickly became a career because it was in high demand at the pandemic. So I've been doing that the last 3.5 years. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have Stimmy and time.
AMC.
AMC, the stock.
Yeah. But it was definitely like a one-off. Like
apes. Ape Army.
Shout out.
Oh my god, that's funny. You guys were into like crypto and like stocks and that stuff, or what?
It wasn't really crypto. I don't know. Were you into crypto at all?
I mean, I was watching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't buy any. But
Yeah.
We were like more on the GameStop AMC kind of train.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't there too late. I was like, wait, what's going on? And then it was already fucking going to the moon and shit. Yeah. But I got for a little bit, I got into like NFTs and stuff, which was pretty good. It was really good while it was lasting, during that whole Stimmy part. People had extra money, like spent $2,000 on a monkey, I was like, dude, whatever. But people were making money, dude. I have to say I made some good cash off of that NFT, but just like anything, you don't know when to pull out. You're done.
Yeah. You get greedy.
You get greedy, yeah. You get greedy, and it's like, okay, well, it was a ride. It was a good journey, but anyways, yeah. It's just again one of those things. Just give you the ability to do that stuff, and of course, when you mentioned about the artists, there was an increase in artists, and I don't know how it feels now, but like you mentioned, it feels like it's a little oversaturated with the amount of like attention that you have to get from your public, or the stuff that you have to kind of sell to them so they can be like, hey, look at me, and that's the hard part sometimes, like just advertising and like promoting yourself as a artist or a creative itself. Like what do you guys usually do to kind of help? What the fuck, the monkey? I was like, what the hell? Yeah, so what are you guys doing? Like what do you guys do to help push that engagement for you?
Well, definitely trying to get out more. Like we have a tour coming up. We're playing Las Vegas, Joshua Tree, San Francisco, and I've been talking to bands over in Arizona. So like we just did South by Southwest in Austin in March. So we're like trying to just get out of LA more. Like the times that we have played outside, like we did a show in San Francisco earlier this year, and everybody was like super receptive. I don't know what it is about LA. I think people just take music for granted here. It's not like shade, but like people just don't care. Yeah. Like there's like a gap. There's definitely like a gap between like people's empathy towards musicians. Like you go anywhere else and you could busk and make a living probably, but here like you won't ever. So yeah, I mean honestly we're just trying to get out whenever we can. I run ad campaigns, do the social game, do TikTok, but really I think it's just going to be getting out, playing live, and I mean I think that's the way. But
yeah, I mean it's an old school way, but it's the effective way. It's like I've done my share of like going with like the campaigns and stuff, like let's boost this ad or something, just to kind of get the engagement, because obviously that's how it works with social media days now, But the idea is like if you get in front of a crowd, you're more likely to get more of a genuine reaction to what you're doing rather than just like trying to force an interaction through like, hey, look at this ad, let me put it in your face, like being up there. And honestly, I feel like the same way for I think most creatives is like sometimes you find your audience outside of the home base first, and then that's when they can really appreciate it, because they're not there to kind of like judge you because you're there. It's more like, oh shit, this is brand new to me, let me support this, and I feel like maybe that's why sometimes you get a lot more support from outside of where you're coming from. Until you get the recognition, they're like, hey, I remember this guy. He was playing Mexico City Heartbreak,
Yeah, and then everybody jumps on. Huh?
And then everybody jumps on. Yeah, that's it's like a weird. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it in different kinds of things, and it's like, what? It's like I have a sticker. There's some guy who sent me a sticker, and the sticker says, "Support me while I'm alive," or what is it? Show me support while I'm alive, not when I'm dead. And it's like that makes sense because it's true. Sometimes things don't blow up till afterwards.
Heartbreaking. That's the name of the band, isn't it?
Imagine blowing up after like everybody dies.
No, dude, I know that'll fucking suck.
One thing that we have been doing too is showing love for other bands. Like, I mean, I try to go to more shows now that the world's open up again. Like, even local. Like, I just saw the McCharmleys at the Paramount, and it was really cool. I was there to see them. I also saw Tetra Collective there. I saw this band called the Hades. We're playing with them in Vegas. I didn't even know they were playing that night. And then in the crowd, I saw the Earringers. I saw Archer O in the crowd. I saw Johnny Cisneros in the crowd. I saw the Altons in the crowd. It was like all these local bands that just came out to support this other band. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool to see bands turning up for other bands. And I think that's really important. Not only building community and like, you know, showing that love, but yeah, I mean that's what it's about. Like making those relationships. That also helps bands grow, because like I know like Earringers, they just brought us on to play with them at the Moroccan Lounge, and they've been longtime friends of ours. And you know, we're planning something in January and planning to bring them on. You know, it's like we kind of help each other out that way, and that's also another way to grow.
Yeah, that's for sure. One of those effective things, again, going back to that whole thing, is just you got to show up. You got to show support to get the support. You know, you kind of just expect to be like, hey, you like my shit. And you don't never go in there and like anybody. You know, it's like, dude, what the hell? You can't expect it. But it's one of the things that it's kind of hard to do, especially because sometimes, you know, as a creative, sometimes there's like certain emotions that you're like, I feel envious because I'm not in the specific place where I want to be, or you see somebody else moving up and you're not. So like there's these emotions that you can kind of see that you can either use to help you like, hey, I can do better than this, or, you know, I mean, I guess that's the only way, because the other way is just like being like, fuck it, you know, just letting it happen. Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's a weird thing, especially when you're in the world of creating things for other people to experience, you know. But just one of those things. And what about Marco? What, like in regards to like the stuff that you do, because I know Rudy mentioned that he's done photography. Like, do you do anything else outside of like the music stuff?
Like for music, not necessarily. I'm kind of all over with like part-time jobs and stuff that I've done. I do stuff all over just to kind of, because sometimes it's hard to get like a good, more of like a career type job where you have to focus all your time on that, and then doing music alongside that, it becomes really difficult to like have to call off or something. Like a lot of like jobs are just not gonna take that, you know, so you kind of have to move on to another one or something. Like right now I'm working as a tutor, after school tutoring for like elementary school kids.
Oh, okay.
And just whatever side gigs I can pick up that won't interfere really with the music, because that's what I want to keep doing. And I'm in another band too called Banana Leaf Boy. I play keyboards for them.
Oh, sick. So you already got your schedule busy as is.
Yeah. Sometimes other people will want to bring you on to like their projects, and oftentimes I don't want to close doors and I'll say yes, but then scheduling wise, when it's like, oh, now we have a show for this band, and then oh well, this band wants to practice this date, and then personal stuff that comes up in your own life, and you have to like plan around that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those. Another thing is like the scheduling. It's like being a creative is just takes so many things. Like you're everything in the group. Like I'm sure, I don't know who does like your guys' design stuff or like editing or anything, but I'm sure it's everything falls on either one person or a small group of people for you to get it done, you know. And that's just like with everything. Is like, for example, like you know, DiavloVision, I'm sure he does everything himself. I do everything with Social Primate. Like it's just so much that you still have to figure out how to do your life shit, you know, work. Like I also have like a 40-hour-a-week job. You know, I have to be there 9 to 5, but it's still figuring out how to like make this fit into your routine and make it happen, you know, because that's the only way it's going to do it. It's up to you to decide when to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then especially with like, I'm assuming at this point you're considered an independent contractor, you know, just basically. Yeah, you know, and that's one of those things that it's just becoming more common nowadays. Like you got to have 4 or 5 different gigs so you can fucking survive. And on top of that, give you the ability to have the flexibility to do what you want, you know, and it's hard. It's a hard balance, you know. But what about you, Justin? What else do you do, man?
So music's kind of been recently. It's been kind of like full time for me. Yeah. But like outside of that too, I also outside of that, I also I have like this production company called Disaster Party Entertainment that I host events under, and I also host a podcast with it and stuff, sweet. And talk to like, you know, local musicians or just people in the industry in general. I do I have played in a couple different bands at the moment. I think it's really just Mexico City, and I do my own music as well. And you know, like every once in a while I'll cover in like other people's bands if they need a bass player for the night or something. But for the most part, I do that, and then I work over at this recording studio in La Cañada called called Electric Sun Studios.
Oh, I think I've heard of that place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dope spot. But when we might be recording our next couple of songs over there, so
that's the plan.
Nice. So like for you guys, I mean, at this point, like what is your guys' like dynamic basically? Like you guys just meeting up every other day to practice? Like you guys are going into a fucking place to record, or like just sending each other music like, hey, check this out and make this music or whatever? How does that work?
A little of everything, kind of.
Yeah. We meet up when we can because everybody's got stuff going on. Our other guitar player plays in another band, and our drummer has his own project and does his own, like everybody's busy, which is cool. It's good. We love being busy. So we meet when we can, especially when we have shows, and yeah, we just get ready for the next thing whenever the schedules align.
Are you guys planning on staying at Joshua Tree for the festival, or are you guys just gonna go there to play?
I think we're doing the day Friday the 13th, and then we're going straight to Vegas the next day, and then we might come back that Sunday. But then it also depends on like who can stay.
Wait, where are we staying?
Well, I'll figure it out. You know,
I think going to Joshua Tree.
No, I think most people are camping.
Yeah, I think most people are camping out there. Yeah.
So
we've gone there before as a band.
We did a song out there. We recorded out there.
Oh, like a music video type of thing, or just record like a studio somewhere?
I think he just recorded vocals.
Okay.
It was like an Airbnb, and we just
what the fuck?
Rudy was the only one recording. The rest of us were just gonna drop their stuff the rest of the time.
It was like a band bonding trip kind of too. Yeah. So it's like.
So basically, everybody just went in on an Airbnb, just chilled out while Rudy was recording.
Well, the first day it was like kind of crazy because I think it rained and the Airbnb was like off this really muddy path, and it was like completely covered in water. And
flash flood.
Only his Jeep was able to get through it. Like the water was up to almost to his windshield even.
It was going over the windshield at one point.
I could feel the water underneath the seat. Yeah. And he was saying, "Oh, the pedal is like shaking," and like I'm like, "Don't stay stepping on the gas, lady. If you if you let go, like we're
gonna sink."
Get stuck.
Damn! And when that fuck.
It was nice.
And it made it though, the Jeep.
It was like crazy, like storm out of nowhere.
That should be the ad for Jeep. Yeah. Tell them that story.
We have nothing but good things to say about Jeep on this.
Sponsor us, Jeep. Jeep saved our lives.
Also, like on the way back from South by Southwest, the other car like didn't make it back, but the Jeep did. Like it was like was it 3,000 miles? Yeah, like that Jeep's been through some adventures, with this van.
Seen some shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool. I mean, it's just the stories that you guys have too, and it's like, you know, it made it happen. And
yeah.
You got some random story. So I mean, you guys stay there. Like, is that something you guys look to do like pretty often? Like, just kind of congregate together, just to relax and just, you know, shoot the ideas around.
We might do that trip again, like depending on y'all's availability. Like, because I know my producer was talking to me about maybe doing a shorter version of that. And then we just kind of hang out until the Yips Festival. That we were already out there, but optional, you know. But we recorded out there mainly for the vibe. Like it was a whole vibe. A lot happened. Yeah. It was very eventful. Just something about the desert is just there's like magic. It's hard to explain, but.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I went out there a few weeks ago to catch the meteor showers, and it's just one of those things that you go out there and you're just like, dude, this is cool. Like,
the sky's so clear. Like, it's totally different from here.
Yeah, I trip out sometimes when you go in. Like, I started tripping out the first few years that I went. It's like you go out there and on a clear night, you can see the Milky Way, just like fucking little arm, and it's like, dude, we're fucking small. Like we're nothing here, you know. But it's beautiful because you go out there and you reconnect. So I can just imagine you just going out there, you know, with your homies, to, you know, just kind of making about music and just hang out in general in the desert. Like, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling Emmanuel about Yips, because we did a podcast a few weeks ago. He's like, dude, it can't be any more magical than just being out there, just vibing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared this on the last pod, because we did talk about the Joshua Tree trip once, but there was also like this giant end of the world sign that we drove past. It was like huge, massive letters that say the end of the world. And as we were driving by, we're like, oh, that's interesting. And then the flash flood started, and we're like, oh. Like
literally lightning just like strikes, and then everything just starts raining.
And then while we're at the Airbnb, locusts start smacking the windows. They're like hitting the window, like hundreds, basically like kamikaze status, like killing themselves by hitting the window, like
shit.
hundreds.
I think just probably being attracted by the light, but they were just kept smacking into the.
It felt
the door was glass.
it was biblical, bro. It was like kind of scary. We're like the end of the world.
They're getting in the
locusts,
house.
flash flood. They were getting in the house.
Yeah.
And those are the big ones, no? Like
They
the
were
freaking long
big.
ones.
They're like
Yeah.
big grasshoppers, and they're all over the outside.
It was scary, dude. Yeah, we were like kind of freaking out. I'm not gonna lie.
I get kind of freaked out by certain bugs, and those were one of them. I think,
Imagine a whole swarm of them.
I'm grateful for Vernon because he was like actually just grabbing them and throwing them out. I was like, oh, thank you, dude. But by the end of it, I was so over them, and I would just like sweep them away with a broom.
Because they were just dead.
Yeah, but I was just you go outside in the morning and there's a bunch of dead ones just.
It was trippy. It was a trippy.
Did you guys take any photos or videos up?
I do actually have a video of that.
You got a video of that?
Yeah,
Oh
of
my
them.
God.
I'm like, oh look. It's like,
You have to show me behind the scenes because that shit sounds scary, dude.
We didn't share the crazy stuff. We didn't. We kept
It
that-
gets crazy.
We keep that in house.
Yeah.
Justin's like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I had a
yeah.
Not on camera.
close to death experience. No.
The
Our producer walked into quicksand and didn't realize that it was
Yeah.
quicksand, and so his leg went in like up to like here, like he was like in there.
There was like a little lake off of the path, and then he wanted to walk up to it and like get as close to the water as possible
To get a photo.
To get a photo, anything for the picture.
anything for the gram.
And then he started sinking. And then our drummer went to try and save him, and then he started sinking.
Well, this was at Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was pretty
Was it on the way
comical.
back, like that we stopped somewhere, or was that pretty much Joshua Tree still?
I think it was on the way back to the Airbnb.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Joshua Tree then.
It was still like Joshua Tree, like the town or whatnot. But
Dude, that is fucking crazy. It's funny how that you saw that sign and then all this stuff starts happening. And it's like you said, biblical stuff like those fucking swarm of those fucking locusts. That's like the first giveaway. Like, let's get out of here, man. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Nah, it was a trip.
Nah,
but we're going back. Doing that again.
but we left it.
Nah, that's really cool. And it's cool that you guys can, you can kind of convivir, like, all together. Like, just have these experiences together and just, vibe with them. Like, that's something you guys nothing can really take away. Sorry, nothing can really take away that. What the fuck am I saying? Nothing can really take that away from you guys.
Yeah.
Jesus. They are like stuttering. But nah, so in terms of, I guess like future releases, you guys, you're saying that you're gonna be releasing music as it comes out over the next couple of months, possibly leaking to the next year, right?
Yeah.
At that point, is that considered like just singles, or is that gonna be a full EP that you're gonna be putting together again?
Like the new way that everybody's kind of doing it now, we're just kind of like following the trends here. It's like the TikTokification of like music is like you want to give people just like a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing single EP,
Wow,
single album, and just to kind of stretch it out. Also because we're like we don't have like a huge following yet. We're really trying to space out the amount of like attention and like airwaves we can get with people, just to stretch out every dollar, because it is a very expensive thing also, and to just like drop an album and like have it fall on deaf ears or like it gets skipped, that's a big risk that you take on such a big investment. So it's better to like stretch it out while you can, stretch every dollar and make it count. And that's kind of like where our head is, just to make every song like matter,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense because a single, you give the ability for it to kind of really like cook, you throw it out there and people can really kind of take the time to kind of like chew it and listen to it until the next one comes out. Because I think at some point CDs were just dropping like 12 songs and there was only like 2 singles that people go back into, And so I think they learned from that. They're like, hey, let's just spread them out and then release the album, and that kind of just make it more sense.
And they'll even just put those like in the front, like the first two.
The first 2 tracks, yeah, and the rest is like, what the fuck's wrong with this album?
Like, oh yeah, people are not gonna listen to the whole thing.
Nah, I mean, but it's those things that you kind of have to do to catch up, to keep up, and to just make sure that, like you said, just stretching out the exposure you're getting over the next couple of, because you're already putting in the work. There's no reason to just drop everything all at once and put all that work that you spent for the months and just have it lose value because people didn't pay attention to it. And yeah, it's one of those things that's just super important, because even when I do the podcast too, it's like I can't just drop 4 episodes at once. People are gonna be like, "Who the fuck was that last guy who he's talking to?" So you kind of have to give them the ability to just simmer, just kind of give it a few minutes, But not for the recording part. Like, are you guys usually going into studio? Or are you guys like investing into this stuff, or is it just stuff that you guys are going like home or somewhere local to just fucking record?
All the demos, I just do them at home, and then when we record, we usually will go to a studio. Like, I think we're going to be doing the first 2 songs where Justin works. It's
that's right, you
Electric Sun Studios.
Electric Sun Studios.
Yeah. We'll be doing at least the first 2 and seeing how the process goes. We're getting it produced by, his name is Manu. He's part of a Stereoments, and he's going to be helping us produce like the first 2 songs. And yeah, we're just going to feel it out. Like, we're at a point where we're just kind of trying to find cool people to work with that are like making really cool stuff. And yeah, like, we're exploring, trying to figure out like what the sound of this next EP or album is gonna be. What's
like the most annoying thing to do when you're putting like the music together? And like, that's one thing you think about. You're like, I gotta do this.
Probably just, well, I mean, speaking for myself, like finding out the ones that are like actually good and like not good, and getting like the honest, like, is this a good song? Does this belong on an album? You know, the hard truth, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what makes it, what doesn't make it? Because you end up writing like 30, 35 songs, and then, 7 make it, or whatever, or 3 make it.
You guys are showing it to each other to be like, hey, what do you think of this song? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll show it to all the guys, and then they'll give me their, their input, what they like.
Okay, now that's good. That's good to have that feedback, because sometimes it's hard. Like, you don't know who to go to, because sometimes you go to the wrong people that don't really understand what you're doing, and they're like, it's great, but they don't really have a let's just say in this case like an ear for it, and it's like, it sounds good to you, but everybody else is like, nah, you gotta get it. You gotta get feedback from like people who are in that fucking line of work.
And then, like, is it marketable? Like, I think, well, Greg from New Monkey Studio, like, I think when you showed him a bunch of the songs, and even you talked about Daylight, that you didn't think it was like one of your favorites necessarily, but Greg heard that one and immediately he was like, no, that's got to be one of the ones we're gonna do.
Oh,
and we're like, really? It's like not that. To him, it was like, we've got better ones, really, don't we? Like, what about this one? He's like, nah. I'm like,
we were surprised,
and it ended up like being good.
That's our most popular song right now.
We were like super excited about El Vacío at first.
Yeah. I still am. That was a sleeper. That was a sleeper.
Everyone slept on that one.
Everyone slept on that one. So wait, he just was like, no, you gotta leave that song, and it was just like the decision.
That was the first one that we did. He's like, no, that's the one. That's the one we're gonna put out first. Yeah. And that's our most popular song right now.
That's funny that you weren't like feeling it, and so it just happened.
The demo was different too, from like how we went from the demo to like the final product. Like, he kind of helped shape it.
Oh yeah, home makeover, extreme makeover, like.
Really?
Yeah, well, not like crazy, but yeah, pretty crazy.
Okay, yeah, because every now and then you hear a song where it's like a demo version, and it just sounds like there's this like extra like fucking vibe to it, and then when you hear a studio version, it kind of loses it, and you're like, I prefer the demo version,
For sure.
Yeah, that happens pretty often. I've heard a few bands where I'm like, dude, they should have not gone to the studio and like just push your demos, man. But nah, it's cool. I like what you guys are doing, and like at least for now, like, what's your next? You say you had events planned out in New York, San Francisco, maybe Arizona, and then Josh with you for the next couple of months, then, right?
Yeah, we're working on Arizona right now, and just trying to like find more opportunities to travel in the Southwest and then the Pacific Northwest too. It's just logistically easier, cost effective, and I think it's a good way to kind of start out this new like journey of just getting out more. So yeah, we got stuff planned from now through like November.
Nice. Question for you guys: what's your guys', since you guys are musicians, like, what's your take on like this whole AI stuff in music?
I hope they don't replace us. I mean, it's looking like, I think in Korea now it's like a lot of the there's like topping songs in the charts that were like written by AI.
In Korea? Oh my God.
Well, now I feel like, what if it becomes, let's just scout like boy band type guys, or like really marketable looking people, and then we'll have AI write the songs for them, and then they're good enough to play it, and then it'll just be a huge hit, and like it becomes a business like that.
Yeah.
I'm probably not the only one to think of this. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure the companies are already thinking about this.
actually, like, don't listen to me.
Oh my god.
What about you, Justin? Especially this is you work in that field where, you know, the studios and stuff.
To be honest, like I'm not like super like worried about it. The studio actually uses AI for certain, not for music, but like for you know, like for instance, like he also does a podcast, my friend Matt that I work with over there, and he just has an AI like edit the podcast.
Yeah.
And like that's super cool because I hate editing too. Like,
yeah, that's one of those pet peeves.
Yeah, and like so that's pretty cool and stuff. And there's good things coming out of it. So it's just a matter of like I think there's gonna be like 10 years of people like messing up on it just like they do with anything else. Like when we got cell phones for the first time, we got internet in general and stuff, and people are gonna like it's gonna be like a fad musically maybe for a while, but it's already showing that like people want like something like real and organic and stuff. And the whole point of like of people that become fans of music, it's a lot of the times it has to do with the people, you know, themselves and like their personalities, and you know, like that's something AI is not, I don't see really duplicating in a way that's going to connect with human beings like that. So I'm not too worried about it.
Well, what about you, Marco? Oh, you already
what
said
if
it.
What if they learn? What if they learn though?
What if they learn? Imagine.
They just take over then.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I think AI can be used for good. I think, historically speaking, humanity will use it for the wrong reasons. But, you know, I think we'll be all right. I think, like kind of what Justin said, it's hard to replicate a feeling, like a rawness, a realness, writing from the heart, writing from the soul. Even like the nuances of a person's voice, you know, they can't be replicated using machine software. There's just something human about, you know, how musicians write, what inspires them, and then the product on the other side. AI can only guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I try to, you know, I'm a fan of ChatGPT. I'll use certain softwares too to kind of help edit with the podcast just to kind of make it sound better and all that. But ChatGPT, like, I would usually ask it, like, you know, just random shit. Like, I don't even go to Google anymore. I just type it in ChatGPT and let it get my answers from there.
Yeah.
But the whole idea was, like, I was asking it, like, hey, write me a paragraph that sounds, like, kind of human and street, kind of, like, you know, using slang. And, like, it did this horrible job of, like, yo, what is up, everybody? And it's like, dude, you sound fake. Like, that's
no cap.
No cap. So it sounds dead, like a dead, like, wannabe robot, you know, or wannabe gangster robot. And it's like, dude, nah.
But
like,
did you tell it that? Like, oh, you sound fake. Try again.
Yeah, I try and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I would not sound like that. And it tries to fix it again. And it's like, nah, you still sound like you're just a robot, you know? But no, it's cool. It is definitely a crazy thing. And I feel like if you know how to use it, if you find it to, like what's it called, improve your workflow, then I think it's one of those things that you can definitely bring into your, you know, your tool set and be like, yo, this is what's going to help me create this stuff. But if you're using it solely to just be like, hey, just type this shit up real quick and pretend it's mine, like, dude, that's when it loses all its value, like, in terms of what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they will find a way to monetize people's creativity with it.
Yeah.
You know, like with the Drake AI, the one that was like charting with The Weeknd or something like that. Like that it was like the best song Drake ever made, and it was like, or not Drake, AI, you know, but it was like his voice. Like they took it off Spotify, they took it off like everywhere because it was like charting.
Yeah,
SpongeBob stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, the sponge. Yeah, it's like SpongeBob singing songs or fucking what's his name, Patrick.
Yeah.
And there's no laws for that yet. So I think people are like catching up, trying to figure out like how they can monetize it. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
Damn. Well, I mean, we just got to figure out. I mean, it's going to be happening with everything. With art, it's already happening. Again, ChatGPT or Midjourney, like those are things that you can use to create all these type of artwork. And nowadays, you see an AI photo, and you're like, dude, that's definitely AI. Like there was this one where the Pope wearing like this like fucking puffy jacket, like this white jacket, and everybody was like, dude, why is the Pope all pimped out? They thought it was real until they were like, dude, look at the hands, and it had like an extra finger. It's like, you know, for some reason it has trouble just figuring out hands.
Like, oops.
So it's like an extra finger. Like, oh, that's AI, dude. Like, but again, it's so easy to trick people sometimes. Like my parents, you know, they're older. They're on Facebook and they're like, look, this photo is real. And you look at it and you're like, what? they photoshopped that shark there. What are you talking about? Yeah. But, and that's shitty Photoshop. Now, imagine if it's actual AI. It's going to have the power to just, like, fuck with people, But, yeah, I mean, that's for...
it's kind of like those, like, scams where they'll send you an email and stuff. And, like, I feel like now, I don't know, we have, like, an eye to be able to recognize these things. But, like, older generations, like, they can't.
Yes.
Like, what if it gets to the point where we can't recognize it?
Exactly. That's going to be the trick, because we're the ones who know it, Yeah. Yeah, I got a call the other day, and I'm like, hey, I got this link. And it says that my package missing. I was like, who was it? I think it was my uncle. I'm like, don't click it. Like, it's a scam. Don't click the link. He's like, are you sure? It says it's lost, though. I need my package. Like, dude, did you send something? He's like, no. It's a scam, bro.
What package you waiting for?
It's like, okay, whatever, guy. But
I think the AI with people's likeness is pretty scary. Like, trying to get, like, actors and, like, people's, like, likeness. So they don't have to pay them ever again. They can just use their face in cinema without, like, ever using the person.
Yeah, dude, that's what the whole strike was about over the summer, like, yeah, it's again, it's just new territory for all of us. Like, we don't. It's like that when we found out you can pirate music, and we're just like downloading off of LimeWire, like nonstop until you get the letter from the internet, like, hey, we're gonna slow down your throttle. It's like, oh shit, this is getting serious. I can't stop downloading, But it's like those things. It's just like wild west of AI right now, Until we get to the point where eventually we went from streaming, downloading music illegally because we didn't want to pay for it, and now we're paying streaming services to give us whatever music we want.
So much more convenient than
than LimeWire and getting the viruses.
And like downloading a song and it's not the song you downloaded.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell? Yeah, it was crazy days, man. So I mean, we lived through that. So I feel like this is where we're at right now with AI in terms of what's going on. A few years we'll finally be like, everybody does it. It's just part of it. But with that being said, guys, if people want to check out more music or the videos that you guys have done before, I know that's on YouTube. Like, what is the best site for people to get to that stuff?
Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music. That's about it. We got to build a website.
TikTok too.
TikTok. That's right.
You said you're trying to start a YouTube channel.
I am starting. Yes, I am trying to start. I'm trying to post more. Period. It's just like, man, it's just hard.
Yeah.
I don't like social media. Who does? Maybe some people love it. I don't know. But, you got to do it. You got to do it. So
yeah, how else are you going to get the word out there?
Can't escape. Yeah, sure. It's one of those things. But I think I am going to get more on YouTube. I posted a video recently of us like at a rehearsal just hanging out. So it's going to be like casual stuff. Cool. Stuff like behind the scenes, before a show, after a show, on tour. Like the real, the struggles, the highs, the lows, all that.
Yeah, people love that. People love to feel relatable, to things, So it's fucking cool, man. Thank you guys for making the time to come out here. Again, you guys mentioned you can find everything on Instagram or your social medias. And in terms of shows, we'll be seeing you guys at the Yips Festival in the next couple of weeks. So that's gonna be fucking cool, man. Well, thank you guys again.
Thanks Rudy, for having
Marco,
us.
Justin.
Thank you, Eddie.
You guys have a good night.
Press the button to begin.